So today I'm going to be showing you how I made this intro for one of my edits. If you use this or if you do something very similar to it, please give credits because I came up with this idea and I figured out how to do all of this on my own. It was a lot of hard work, so I'd really appreciate the credits. But anyways, let's get started on making this intro. So first I went to YouTube to download like my scenery. I just searched up city sunset. If you don't know how to download videos from YouTube, then I will provide a link for you in the description. So first I downloaded some PNGs of pillows as well as a headboard, and I searched up blanket texture and just saved one of these. You can search these up on Google and just find your own, or you can look in the description. I'll have a few links for you to download. One last thing before we get started, I have this website opened up so I can just easily copy these square symbols. I'll be using these a lot. I'll also link this down in the description as well as these square symbols that I used. And one last thing, I created the little Netflix thing beforehand. If you guys want a tutorial on how to create that, then just let me know and I will gladly do it. Anyways, let's get started with the actual intro. So first I'm just going to import my video, and I'm also going to import the picture that I'm going to use for the computer screen. Now let's go to new, multi-layer, press 3D. For the first layer, I'm just going to put my little sunset video. For layer 2, I'm going to copy this square symbol and then I'm going to paste it onto the text here. Now I'm just going to change the style to 3D and just make these gray. These are going to be the sides of the walls. Make the outline all the way down. And then just go to spacing to increase the thickness. And done. Now I'm going to size this up. And I'm just going to copy that for layer 3. Size it up as well. And move it to the side like this. For layer 4, I'm going to use this wider square, make a text layer for layer 4 and paste that in. I'm going to adjust the thickness. This is going to be the top part of our window. Size it up and use these up and down arrows to tilt it by 25 and move it up like this. Basically what this does is it gives us dimension. So instead of like the video of the city just being flat on the wall and just having like a little window PNG over it, we can add dimension to it by making it look like this, I don't know how to explain it. It just looks better that way, okay? Just trust me. And I'm gonna copy that for layer 5. I'm just gonna copy the keyframes from layer 4 and just drag it down. And I'm actually gonna go back and I'm gonna make the depth so that it is kind of like a little more flat against it, if that makes sense, like that. And same thing for layer 5, just like that, so that it's kind of seamless like that. Now for layer 6, I'm going to add my picture of the bed sheet. When you import it, make sure you import it as a square like this, and I'm going to make that a cuboid, and I'm going to make it a rectangle like this. Now I'm just going to use these arrows to rotate it by 25 and make it a little thinner like that. Size it up and I'm just going to drag it down and place it like right there. Increase the depth so it's like that. For layer 7, I'm going to add my headboard picture. I'm just going to edit keyframes. Use these left and right arrows to turn it by 25. And then I'm going to move the depth up and move it to the side over here. Now to help us place this in, I'm just going to add a master with all of the layers. And I'm going to use these arrows to tilt it a bit so I can see it better and also move it over here like that. Now when you add a master like this and you put it to another angle, do not drag your thing like just with your fingers like this, because when you add a master it like angles it weirdly, so it's like kind of hard to maneuver. So just use these arrows and just use the depth and stuff, because like for example here, if I wanted to move it downwards like that, if I try to move it down, it's not going to work. I would have to use this arrow. So yeah, it's a bit weird to maneuver. Now I'm just going to go back and delete this master. We don't really need it for now, we just needed it to help us place that headboard. While doing that, I realized that I forgot to add a wall behind the bed, so I'm just going to add a color layer and use the same gray that I've been using, make it a little darker, you know, just to add some depth and dimension to it. Edit keyframes, and then use these left and right arrows to tilt it by 25. And then I'm just gonna drag it to the side like this and just put it behind the headboard, which is right there. Now I'm going to be adding some pillows. Just size this down and tilt it at an angle. I know that it's literally like just in the air like that, but before I perfect it, I'm going to add my second pillow. I'm just going to copy the keyframes from my last layer and change it up a bit. And now I'm going to add a master again. And I'm just going to move it to the side so I can see where the pillows are. Also tilt it a bit. Now I'm just going to move this down. Try to have your pillows at an angle so that they somewhat look kind of 3D. I mean, here it looks pretty decent actually, so I'm just gonna keep it like that, and then, you know, just move it till you're happy with how it looks. Now just delete this master again. Now I'm going to be creating the laptop. First, I'm just gonna make a gray color layer. If you're confused by what I'm doing here, I have a video where I clearly explain how to create a 3D laptop, so you can refer to that if, you know, this is a bit confusing. Now I'm gonna add another color layer, make it a bit darker this time. Make it a cuboid. Make it the same rectangle shape as the other one. Make it thinner. And I'm just going to size it down and move it down so it connects with the other piece. For layer 13, I'm just going to add a PNG of the laptop keyboard. This will also be in the description. And just use these, turn it like this, size it down, and then just move it down. Then for 14, I'm just going to add a black color layer. And I'm going to add the effect 2D panel, and I'm going to add this rectangle effect to it. And just turn it and size it down. And we have one last layer to add our picture that we're using. I'm going to add a mask, and we're going to use this rectangle. Just move it up. Now just move it in place. Once you've got all of that in place, we can add a master. And now you can just keyframe this however you want, you know, make it move however, make it tilt however you want. As a guide, I'm just going to show you how I would do it. So how I usually do my whole like camera movement panning thing, whatever, is I usually make the movement stop around here and I leave about 30 frames of just stillness so that I could add my transition in there. So about 15 frames before the end, that is about when you want to add the transition going into the next clip. And then from here to here, I usually like to do a little like zoom out kind of thing whenever I do my 3D rooms. So I'm just gonna go here and I'm going to mark down the size, and then about 15 frames after that, which would be 5.20, I'm just going to zoom out like this and add my graph. You want to add this type of graph, an out graph. Another thing that I added to really make it look like the sun was setting is I went back to layer 1, which was my video, and then just go to color and press brightness. So at the beginning, I'm going to make the color 100, and I'm just going to choose a random spot, make the color 0. Once you're happy with how it all looks, just press create. And finally, you can just add whatever transition you want at the end here to transition into your actual edit. But yeah, that is all for this video. Once again, if you use this, please give me credits on Instagram. It is at VirgoYunes. Link is in the description. I'd really appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow my Instagram, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.